Hey guys, today I thought I'd talk about the Commando class in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Um, uh, as a actually, what do they? I was going to say, what do they call it? Oh yeah, it's just a combat medic, right? So yeah, the combat medic spec of the Commando, as they're primarily DPS, yeah, usually. Um, so yeah, the Commandos a bit of an odd one because you're very dependent on your abilities being available to you. Um, you can kind of get away with spamming heals on people, but after a while it becomes extremely inefficient. Um, so you have to be very aware of upcoming situations and what abilities you'll need to deal with them best. Um, a good example of this is some of the bosses in flashpoints have phases where uh, one or two people will take a rather large amount of damage, and if you don't have your supercharged cells available, you may not be able to out heal the damage that your teammates are taking. So it's a very situational class. You have quite a lot of mobility, pretty decent damaging abilities, crowd control, and you have probably the highest survivability abilities in the game. You can reduce damage you take and have a utility that it makes it heal you after it ends. You can basically just reflect everything for 6 seconds and it heals you 5% of your health every time. And you can even just give yourself a I can't remember how much it actually heals. I think it ticks for approximately 5 to 10, maybe 10% of your health a second. And there's again a utility for this which can make it, instead of triggering at 35%, trigger at 60%. Let me just check. 60%, yeah. Which is kind of ridiculous. This is probably one of the hardest healers to kill in PvP, and even in ops and stuff, they can kind of tank bosses sometimes. Especially with their mobility, they can kind of stay away from it and intermittently heal themselves whilst balancing between their defensive cooldowns. So it's pretty damn effective. So yeah, I guess the main fundamental for a commander is your resource management. One of your overall problems is, you can see here, the energy cells cost for medical probe is 18, which is, well, near 20% of your maximum energy. So if you just sit here and spam it, you're just gonna drain everything away very, very rapidly. But the way you get around this, as you can see, I've built 10 stacks here of a buff called Supercharged, which I can't remember, is it passive in here or is it something else? Oh, in any case, it's so whenever you use Men's Shot, it builds a stack of this. I'll just remove them so you can see. And whenever you use medical probe, you build 2 stacks. Yeah. So the idea of this class is to maintain as often as possible 10 charges of this, because once you can hit 10, you can see this ability becomes available. Now, Supercharged Cell increases your healing done and reduces the cooldown of advanced medical probe, and gives it no cooldown and reduces its energy cost. So advanced medical probe is your highest healing ability, and it can theoretically you can kind of, I think, in most cases, fully heal people in about 3 or 4 uses of it. Well, with crits and stuff included, of course, which you can output for the duration of Supercharged Cell. So for the 8 seconds it lasts, you can, with a certain combination of abilities, you can pretty much heal someone from almost 0 to 100% health in a couple of seconds, 4 at most, realistically. Obviously depending on your alacrity as well. But yeah, so the main sort of your standard healing, you'll want to put Trauma Probe on people, which is a ability that every time somebody takes damage, they get healed, and Trauma Probe loses a charge. The healing can't trigger more than once every 3 seconds, but you put it on everyone and it lasts for 3 minutes, so it's pretty much the entire duration of a fight, so it's always valuable to keep it stacked up on people. It's just free healing essentially. It does cost 10 energy, so if you do actually spam it, it can quite effectively drain all of your resources, but you just kind of use it infrequently. And then so that's going to be sort of that, plus med shot can in some cases kind of keep the tank alive. They may be some hits will drop them to a significant amount and you'll need to do other things, but you can pretty much get away with just Trauma Probe and just spamming this, which is great because it's completely free and builds your Supercharged cells. If they ever lose, say, 20-25% of their health, you can do Medical Probe immediately followed by a med shot, which if both crit will be, I don't know what it is for me, that's about 7k, and that's going to be about 18k, so it's like 25,000 health. Obviously you get downscaled to 17 at most ops and things, so it'll probably equate to about 15 to 20% of the target's health. And yeah, so another advantage to Medical Probe is you build up stacks of Field Triage, which reduce the energy cost of Advanced Medical Probe. So you can kind of do a little combo where, let's say I drop down to 0 charges. This is what I usually do. So you hit him with med shot and then you go med probe, med shot, and you do this three times in a row, and it heals for a reasonable amount, gives you 10 stacks of Supercharge, and triggers the Advanced Medical Probe buff. So that's what I usually do to build up my charges, providing somebody's taken enough damage to warrant you actually using Medical Probe. So once you're if you're in a situation where someone's down to about 50% health or so, the best combo is, let's say I've already built up the charges on Advanced Medical Probe. You just want to go Medical Probe immediately into Battery Infusion, which will cause your Advanced Medical Probe to be instant cast. And this heals just is it just a bit more? Yeah, it's just a bit more than Medical Probe as well, because you can queue up instant cast abilities immediately preceding any other channeled ability, which is quite nice in this game, which is how you can do med shots at the same second that Medical Probes finish. So that's like your standard healing. If you're in like an AoE situation, you've got your Koto Bomb, which is just a straight sort of AoE explosion heal that restores health over time as well. And if the tank and one other person's taken damage, or 2 people have lost a significant amount, you can use Successive Treatment, which heals your target and one target nearby, and it definitely seems like it prefers targets who have actually lost health, which is very useful because not many games do that. And then we come on to the main the main healing. So if somebody is losing a significant amount of health very rapidly, so you'll want to go back to your infusion into an instant cast advanced medical probe, then hit your supercharged cell. Now you have Tech Overdrive, which lets you instant cast 2 of them, and then obviously I was talking a bit there, but you can get another one off. Then Bacter Infusion comes back, so if we still had the buff, this wouldn't have been on cooldown, and then you do Bacter Infusion and back to another advanced medical probe. So if I just do that actually properly in sequence, it will probably be a lot easier to see. Right, so I'll wait for this to come back. Tech Overdrive's got a few seconds to. I'll just do this. So, Battery Infusion, Advanced Medical Probe, Supercharge, and then you spam this, and you can just see it's just massive amounts of healing. Okay, that doesn't come back in time, but that's essentially the main shtick with this. Now there's often a lot of debate around whether or not you should use Supercharged Cell whenever possible, because in theory, if you build it up again, you can almost use it. So if I just use it and then do my normal build up I was doing before, you can see I've nearly got it again already, and I've in theory done 5% more healing for that duration, and then just use it again. So it is possible, but probably not the most effective use of it, especially if you do that and then immediately following it, somebody actually needs it, and then you need to start doing your proper rotation, which is this, hopefully. But yeah, so that's all that's really you really need to pay attention to, and the Commando is managing your supercharged cells. Other than that, it's reasonably good AoE healing, but incredibly powerful single target, alongside quite a lot of utilities. I guess the last thing to probably know is your energy replenishing abilities. You have recharge cells, which just recharges 50 energy, which you can buff with cell capacitor to give you an extra 15, which is pretty substantial. And the other major thing, if you're ever running at 50% energy or less, your energy regeneration is based on these four sort of triangle pit chevrons, whatever you have at the side here. The lower they are, the lower your energy, the slower it regenerates. So as you can see, it's dropping rapidly. Now let's say I wanted to cast successive treatment. Well, that consumes 28 energy over its duration. The way to get around this is to synergize it with reverse power cell, and then it costs nothing, so you're gaining energy whilst that's going on. And I guess most importantly, your supercharged cell restores 15 energy when you use it as well. So a good Commando would probably not get into that situation, but when it comes up, it is good to know that you can kind of spam med shot and medical probe, build up the charges, and then when you hit that, you gain some energy back. So it is possible to counter the sort of the massive energy loss. I don't have the set bonus on this character because I just haven't got round to it yet, but it's exactly the same as the Scoundrel. It increases your critical chance by 10% and healing by 5%, which is obviously very useful. So always good to go for that. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm pretty sure that's what it does. So yeah, hopefully this helps some people. Maybe not. I'm sure there's probably hundreds of guides and stuff, but I've been playing healers in this game for an excessively long time, and I don't know. Hopefully I can help some people out with it. So